You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Live at 4. Hope you had a nice weekend. Feels like spring.
Yes, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Finally.
Yes.
We've been waiting.
And we've lost a little something as the weather's getting warmer.
You know, I was out on the ice and it just felt right, but I needed to keep right here warm
We have
still.
to take it in stages. Looking good.
Thanks, Susan.
First at 4, we start with some developing news on Madison's west side.
Officers say they are now investigating a stabbing that sent one man to the hospital. It happened on Moraine View Drive, just north of Elver Park, at about 11 Friday morning. Police say the victim and the suspect know each other. They then arrested the suspect for first-degree recklessly endangering safety and disorderly conduct. And at least 6 people are without a home after a fire destroyed parts of an apartment building on Madison's south side.
The apartment fire was located on Taft Street near Penn Park. Firefighters say 5 engines and 2 ladder trucks were on the scene, taking less than 10 minutes to control the fire. The Red Cross is now helping the family.
Well, Susan mentioned it's starting to feel a little spring-like out there, and we'll find Blaze Keller enjoying that weather out on the patio. Blaze?
That's right. We're still in the 50s here in Madison across southern Wisconsin. Many of us got into those upper 40s and squeezed out our first low 50s of the season. It's 50 in Lone Rock, 53 in Camp Douglas, 52 in Madison, 48 in Janesville, as well as in Monroe and Platteville. We have done a lot of melting today. We're going to continue to melt the remaining snow as we go throughout the rest of the week. Almost near 55 in Waunakee. It is 55 in Sauk City, 49 in Belleville. This is coming right along the first time that we normally record our first 50 of the year in the Madison area. We usually record it on February 22nd. It's the 24th, so just a little bit later, but you can see that we'll slip into the 60s, or at least we record our first 60s in about a month by the end of March. Take a look at how much snow has melted throughout the day. Thanks to those 50s, we are going to continue to chip away at that snow as we go into your day tomorrow and a little bit overnight as well. We're going to hang out in the 30s underneath mostly cloudy conditions with a little bit of light rain. We're going to continue to really track out these warmer temperatures in the full forecast.
Thank you, Blaze. And listen, I am loving that it is feeling like spring with these warmer temperatures.
Oh, I am too. Just don't get your car washed.
No,
because
not
the roads
yet.
are so wet. And it's looking like spring out there too. The snow is melting quickly. Arman Rahman has more from experts about what you should monitor with water runoff.
As temperatures spike this week as quick as the snow came, it seems it's now leaving. But where that water is going to go could cause some concern. This big melt falls right in Flood Safety Awareness Week in Wisconsin. Dane County emergency management officials say it's important to understand the flood risk of your property, even if it's not in a flood plain. And while there's going to be a lot more standing water on the streets this week, they say the snowpack melting away is not large enough to cause too much concern.
We'd be more concerned in those circumstances. I mean, really, you know, I don't want to downplay it, because if we do see snow melt very quickly, there's always a potential for flooding, especially in low-lying areas. You know, we may have storm drains that are backed up, things that just haven't quite gotten that spring maintenance done yet, so there could always be problems throughout the county.
Reduce the risk to your home by keeping rainwater away from your foundation, keeping your gutters clean, and downspouts pointing away from your home. And make sure your homeowners and renters insurance policies cover flooding, because most don't. Now, of course, snow is not the only thing that's going to be running off. Tonight at 6, hear from experts about why these big swings in temperature after a big snowfall can cause concerns for salt in water runoff. For now, reporting in Madison, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Arman. And if you do want to monitor river water levels, you can head to the National Weather Service's website. Well, just about 6 days. That is how long Dane County snowmobilers had to hit the trails this year. As of right now, all snowmobile trails are closed in Dane County. They were open from last Sunday, the 16th, to last Friday, the 21st, spanning an entire season of just 6 days. In the Madison area, all outdoor ice rinks are also closed.
The Wisconsin DMV is warning consumers about scammers posing as legitimate car dealers online. Now, these fraudsters create fake websites and social media profiles using stock images and unrealistically low prices to lure in buyers. Victims often send money via wire transfer, only to realize the seller has vanished. The DMV urges buyers to verify dealerships, inspect vehicles in person, and avoid suspicious payment methods. If you've been scammed, report it to the DMV or police. right away.
Well, we are in the middle of flu season, and many states, including ours, are getting hit very hard.
Our Jalen Banks joins us now with the numbers that we're seeing in our state this flu season.
Many of you at home may have either had the flu or at least know somebody who's gotten it this season. And that's consistent not only throughout Wisconsin, but throughout the country, with experts saying this is the worst flu season in nearly a decade. According to the CDC, Wisconsin is one of many states with moderately high to very high flu activity. And the latest numbers from UW Health show from February 4th to February 18th, they had 100 admits for the flu, and 28 of those are hospitalized as of last week. And speaking to one expert, they say the outbreak can be attributed to end-of-the-year travel of 2024.
Remember back to the holidays a couple months back, we had epic kind of record travel levels, and you had a bunch of vulnerable people traveling here, there, and everywhere. Very few people wearing masks or taking protective measures.
Tonight at 5, I'll have more on how this particular flu strain has Wisconsin ties. Reporting in studio, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Jalen. According to the CDC, for the first time since the beginning of the pandemic, more people in the U.S. died of influenza than from COVID-19 in the week ending on January 25th. Next on Live at 4, unions across the country are challenging an email sent to federal workers from DOJ.
And then we had a chance to talk with CBS investigative reporter Scott McFarland about Wisconsin's Supreme Court race. That's coming up. Federal workers have until midnight tonight to list 5 things they accomplished this week, or they could be out of a job. An email went out today to millions of federal workers. On his social media platform X, Elon Musk warned that failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. But some agencies, like the FBI, led by Kash Patel, told agents to pause on responding. So did the State Department, led by Marco Rubio, and so did the Pentagon.
Well, let's get a look at our first warn forecast. Blaze is back in the studio with a warmer and milder week ahead.
That's right. We're going to end February, these last few days, on the warmer side. Most of us will probably be in the low to mid 40s. We could still squeeze out a 50-degree day here as we move forward. We're sitting underneath the ridge of the jet stream, I should say, because of this strong blocking high pressure system that's off the Pacific Northwest coast. It's essentially pushing a lot of systems up into parts of Canada as well as Alaska, thanks to its winds going clockwise around it. And so it's bending the jet stream and placing us somewhat underneath the ridge of the jet. So all that warmer air is moving northwards, while most of that cooler air that we might otherwise be sitting under is sitting off to our north. These clipper systems that are going to be moving on through, they're also just a little bit too far north to bring down that cooler air. They're also not strong enough. So a lot of the nation is sitting underneath that ridge. That's why a lot of us are going to be sitting underneath these red temperatures, the warmer than average temperatures, for really the next several days, all the way through next weekend. That's when we might start to see some cooler air return to the northeast as that jet stream starts to dip. But we don't tap into that air. We continue to sit underneath those warmer than normal temperatures, even once our temperatures do cool down as we head into Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, those first few days of March. But take a look at our 40s, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then again possibly Tuesday and Wednesday of that following week. That looks to be a stronger low pressure system that may bump our temperatures back up. But in the more short term, these clipper systems, they're just weak. They're not doing enough. They don't have enough support in the upper levels to pull down that cooler air. And after sitting underneath cooler than average temperatures pretty much from the 9th all the way through the 22nd, if you ignore the 15th there, we spent a lot of February on the cooler than average side. In fact, with yesterday's temperatures, we're still at only about 18 degrees for an average temperature throughout the entire month in the Madison area. That's about 4 degrees cooler than where we should be for this time of year. And with the lack of snow on the ground, we're going to continue to remain warm because not a lot of that heat, only about 20 to 30%, is reflected back into the atmosphere. But if we had snow on the ground, anywhere from half to 90% of the heat that we would otherwise absorb is pushed back into the atmosphere. So the lack of snow is actually going to keep us warmer as well. There is a look at our high temperatures for your Tuesday, back into those 40s. Again, a few low 50s could be possible as well. And we'll hang out in the 40s with a couple rain snow mix chances, but probably more rain and light rain at that through the rest of this week.
Thank you, Blaze. Well, this is arguably the most impactful Wisconsin election of 2025.
With majority control of the Wisconsin Supreme Court up for grabs in April, the race between candidates Susan Crawford and Brad Schimmel could be the most expensive in history.
Earlier, we talked with CBS News Justice correspondent Scott McFarland about how outside donors are pouring money into this race.
Yeah, first of all, let's just reflect on the fact that otherwise obscure state Supreme Court and judicial races are capturing the attention of the nation, because usually these races don't even capture the attention of the neighborhood or the state in which they're being held. But this is obviously different, not just because there's been this epic battle over the state court system in Wisconsin, one that precedes this year, but it's obviously a barometer, isn't it, of where the national mood is, where the mood of a battleground state is. And everybody's trying to get a good firm feel for that. You'll see that also in New Jersey and Virginia, two states that had gubernatorial elections this year. Well, that tells us something about the popularity of the all-Republican Washington. And if Republicans overperform, if they overachieve in Wisconsin in this race, what message does that send to Wisconsin's Republicans in Congress and the president about how things have been going in these first few months?
This race is supposed to be officially nonpartisan, but it feels like it's anything but.
That really speaks to the whole judicial system nationwide right now, doesn't it? There are so many criticisms in so many corners of America that the federal judiciary has become politicized. And we see that here in Washington. When there's a ruling that comes out of the U.S. District Court in Milwaukee or in Madison, or if the U.S. District Courts in Washington, New York, or Los Angeles issue a ruling, the first question is, well, was it a Biden judge or a Trump judge or a Bush or Obama judge, indicating that that will impact the type of ruling that comes out. Now you're seeing that bleed down to the state level and the local level, where these are nonpartisan elections, except they're not. You have political interests funding the ad campaigns. You have political interests funding the door knocking. They're making this a political beast of a job. And that may be something that can't be repaired anytime soon.
I know in my experience, when you work in a Midwestern state, a lot of people are very skeptical about outside money coming in to influence elections. And typically, Republicans have been very vocal about it. The money coming in for this race and all the attention, is that enough to sway voters one way or the other? If they see a candidate taking money that they don't like, would they vote for the other one? Or what are your thoughts on that?
It's definitely possible, and I think we've seen that in some of our Wisconsin U.S. Senate races, where somebody, one side or the other, gets a disproportionate amount of money from Wall Street or from Hollywood or from Texas or from conservative interests. But if everybody's collecting a lot of outside money, it's hard to leverage that to the voters. But to be clear, candidates often do that. They say their opponent is the voice of outside interests and non-Wisconsin interests and non-Wisconsin money. Let's see if that manifests itself in the coming days or weeks in all those ads we are all seeing so much.
Yeah, this is the second time we've been through this with a Supreme Court race, and whatever the outcome is, it will sway the balance of power on the court. And there are some big issues like abortion that hang in the balance here. Is that what's driving all of this money and all of this interest? It's all about power.
Yeah, that's the secondary issue. Not only are there political wins to measure off of this race, but yes, there are state issues that other states care about. They all care about where reproductive rights are in Wisconsin. They all care about where gun rights are in Wisconsin, voting rights. It's a laboratory of sorts. Those battles can be won. It could change the political complexion of the people Wisconsin sends to Washington, but also can help further those issues in the broader sense. There's so much that goes through the court system. It really shouldn't be a surprise that these elections are important. It's just different that they're not obscure, because it's hard for most citizens in most states of America to name who their state Supreme Court judges are, or even to know they have Supreme Court judges, which is what makes this all so distinctive.
Scott, always great to have an opportunity to talk to you. We will do it again very soon. Thanks so much for your time.
Sounds good.
It's always great to talk to Scott.
Yeah, very nice guy.
Still Still to come on Live at 4, a private school plan is changing. We'll tell you who the group is working with now.
But first, Josh Sprider tells us about the Andy North Trivia Night this evening and how to help raise money for charity. On the next Live at 4, Dr. Jeff Potoff joins us in the studio with the latest health news.
And the latest from the White House, we'll talk to political consultant Brandon Scholes to break it all down. We're looking forward to a very fun event tonight in the 608 for an extremely good cause. It's all about raising money for cancer research.
Josh Sprider will be there with a familiar face to our viewers and joins us now with a preview.
I am honored and excited to be part of the Andy North Trivia Night happening this evening at the Sylvie, and News 3 Now is once again a proud sponsor. This is an opportunity for folks to have a fun and inspired evening of trivia, music, food, and refreshments. It's all to raise money for the UW Health Carbone Cancer Center. It's hosted by Andy North. Not only is he a professional golfer, he is a cancer survivor and research champion. In addition to trivia, the lineup includes a silent auction, celebrity appearances, dinner, drinks, and prizes. This event continues to grow year after year. A record $125,000 was raised for cancer research at the event in 2024, and we hope to beat that this time around. Tonight's event is sold out, so stay tuned for more in the years to come, but you can still support the cause right now and help us raise funds for critical cancer research here in our community. To learn more about how you can help, just go to andynorthandfriends.com. I also have that linked on channel3000.com. I'll be emceeing the evening with the one and only Leah Lynchide. Now's the time to help us help others right here in the 608. For Live at 4, I'm Josh Sprider.
Great cause, and you get to see Josh and Leah reunite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. Have you ever been to it?
No, I haven't.
Are you good at trivia?
Pop cult, Reba McEntire trivia and Dolly Parton trivia, yes.
It's really fun, but then sometimes you think, oh man,
Yeah.
I
need to read a book.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, well, good luck, everyone. Well, coming up on Live at 4, it feels like shorts and short sleeve weather outside. Blaze shows us it might stick around for a little while.
And then an apartment fire has displaced several people in Madison and destroyed their homes. What the fire chief had to say about the damage when we come back.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Let's take a look outside. The snow piles are starting to go.
I could hear the drip drip from my rooftop all day today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A very mild week ahead are the weather words, and Blaze is here to tell us how mild out on the patio. And you have your light jacket today. It was hard to decide if you even needed a coat.
I think it's just out of reflex. I know a week ago we were inside telling the weather because it was so cold, and now obviously a much different story. We're in the low 50s at this hour, and we are actually tracking some rain showers across southwestern parts of Wisconsin into Grant County, just outside of Dickeyville over Potosi right now, some light rain showers, and then we travel into Lafayette County, and just outside of Gratiot we have a little bit of sprinkles, and then to our south and west of Platteville we also have a light rain shower going on, and primarily across southwestern southern parts of the state we could see some rain overnight as our first clipper moves through the area. But temperatures again for this time of year into the upper 40s to low 50s. I know a few folks who will not complain about this warmth. We've chipped away at the snow. 52 in Madison, 51 in Middleton, 54 in Cuba City. We are going to continue to remain in these warm temperatures throughout really the end of this week, which is the last few days of February. Low 30s tonight, right around freezing, so maybe some slick spots develop overnight, but we are going to track some light rain showers, as I mentioned, and we've already looked at as we go overnight into your Tuesday, at least the start of your Tuesday. We're going to track a few more chances for some wintry mix, but we're not looking at a whole lot in the way of snow or rain totals. We'll take a look at why in just a few minutes.
All right, Blaze, thank you. An apartment fire left 8 units destroyed and at least 6 people displaced. The Madison Fire Department says firefighters responded to the building after a call came in around 12:20 a.m. this morning. The apartment fire was located on Taft Street near Penn Park. The fire department says they had 5 engines, 2 ladder trucks, and 2 medical units respond to the scene, and it took about 6 to 8 minutes to get the fire under control. The department says the Red Cross, maintenance staff, and managers of the building are working to help the residents who've been displaced by the fire and the damage it caused.
I believe there are 2 apartments upstairs that will take a little bit of time to get back in just due to the fire damage. Then there's obviously water damage on the floor below that will affect a couple of residents as they're.
The Red Cross tells News 3 they had some of their crews respond when the fire broke out, and they're still helping the families affected. The Red Cross helps them with temporary housing as well as replacing certain medical prescriptions and equipment. The Madison Fire Department says the cause of the fire is still being investigated.
The McKenzie Foundation and the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County have withdrawn their Forward Career College Academy charter school proposals. Instead, they'll collaborate with the Madison Metropolitan School District on workforce development solutions. MMSD Superintendent Dr. Joe Gothard says the district is committed to expanding career preparation and work-based learning for students. Local philanthropist John McKenzie aims to finalize a workforce plan within a year.
A Madison elementary school is closing in on a permanent name, and you'll get a say in that. Southside Elementary School, which opened in 2023, is down to these 4 name proposals. They are Southside Community Elementary, Ada Deer Elementary, Lori Mann Carey Elementary, and 9 Springs Elementary. You can give feedback in person at the next school board meeting, or you can also submit a written statement. We have the details on how to do that on channel3000.com. The numbers on Wall Street today on this Monday: the Dow gained 33 points at the close, the Nasdaq lost 237, and the S&P dropped roughly 30 points.
Madison police say they are now investigating a battery that happened in downtown Madison. Officers were called to Williamson and Rogers Streets early Friday morning for a report of a woman saying she was strangled by 2 people in the area. She said she went out to smoke at about 3:30 that morning. That's when the 2 people grabbed her and strangled her. She was taken to a nearby hospital for her injuries. So far, officers have not arrested any suspects.
Pope Francis is still in critical condition, but doctors say he's improving slightly. And New York's Cardinal Timothy Dolan is also weighing in on the Pope's condition. He spoke with the media. Cardinal Dolan said he's worried for Pope Francis and that there is, quote, a feeling of somberness. Dolan further said in an interview with Fox News that he admires Francis's grit and resilience, and he is praying for his recovery. Pope Francis was elected Pope by the College of Cardinals in 2013. Well, in just a few minutes, a Stephen King short story converted into a movie about a monkey with symbols. And I think this is a horror flick,
it is,
right?
Yes.
Boy, that's intriguing. Will Loper has more with the Loper Report when we come back.
Okay, if you've ever had a toy that kind of creeped you out as a kid, you'll understand the premise of a new horror film.
Yep, it's a Stephen King adaptation. Film critic Will Loper has a review of The Monkey, now playing in theaters.
Hey, Susan and Brady. If you thought a 32-page short story by Stephen King about a cursed toy monkey couldn't make a feature-length movie, think again. The Monkey opened in theaters this past weekend to a respectable $14 million. But is the movie any good, or is this idea bananas?
For the longest time, there was nothing. But then, it appeared. A beast not from this earth.
The movie follows 2 brothers who discover a very creepy toy monkey with a drum, which had to be changed from the original short story symbols due to Disney apparently owning the trademark to the evil symbol monkey that appears in Toy Story 3. In this film, when the monkey's wind-up key gets turned and it begins to play the drums, bad things happen.
Wait!
The Monkey is an extremely dark comedy mixed with horror that explores the futility of trying to control fate.
We have been chosen to witness its power.
There are plenty of jaw-dropping, shocking moments that also manage to elicit an outburst of laughter.
But there aren't any cobras in Maine, I mean, are there?
Well, there was the one.
But without any characters to root for, it becomes tiresome by the third act. Fans of dark humor will want to stream the monkey, but everyone else who beats to a different drum, you're safe in skipping. For Live at 4, I'm Will Loper.
Come on, baby.
Gonna go see it?
Go see it. You let me know what you think. I'm looking forward to
I'll give
seeing
you a play-by-play, and I'll leave a little monkey on your desk.
God, please don't.
Okay.
Coming up on Live at 4, a warm wonderland this week as the weather stays mild, but it is Wisconsin, so we know this isn't the last we've seen of winter. Blaze talks about some rain, maybe some snow coming up next.
But first, let's go behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs in one of Madison's favorite cars, the Toyota Prius.
Well, here is a live look. This is Blue Mountain Resort in Bath, Pennsylvania, up in the Poconos.
The skiers are enjoying that little bit of snow they have, but I see some grass
Look
poking
at that.
through.
Yep, that's looking like it is around. Hopefully you skied over the weekend while the snow was still good. Well, if you live in Madison, you are definitely familiar with the Toyota Prius.
Yeah, I've seen a few here and there here. Well, this one has a sleek new upgrade, but retains the familiar features Prius fans love. We're going behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs.
You make me happy, so happy. Ooh, na, 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 na.
This is the new Prius. You know, a lot of people when this first came out, they were like, that's a Prius?
What is that?
You know, because we all know the Prius as this sort of, you know, kind of frumpy looking, more about being practical than something that actually looks and feels sporty.
Yeah.
And this does, with the really nice raked roofline.
It's sleek.
Yeah, and part of that is for aerodynamics to help efficiency, but also they wanted to make a Prius that was desirable.
Yeah.
And with this plug-in hybrid version, not only do you get 50 miles per gallon, but if you drive less than 40 miles a day, you never have to use gas. You can run just on electric. So now it's a combination of an true combination of an electric vehicle and a gas vehicle. There's an added expense to that. This car, as it sits, is $35,000. So it's not cheap, but when you look at the amount of money you can save in gasoline by driving all electric in this, the economics start to work out. Here's your electric plug, and this is that J1772, which can either take a 110 charge or a level 2. So if you're out and about and you want to charge up on a level 2 charger, you can recharge this thing in under 4 hours.
And what's the trunk space like?
Trunk space on this is okay.
Okay.
It's modest, you know, it's a hatchback again. You can pull this out of the way if you need to stack stuff up a little higher, but you're going to be able to get a couple of good size roller bags in here, whatever. So certainly for a weekend trip or something, you'll be fine.
I can't even tell that it's running. It is whisper quiet.
Yeah, when it runs in all electric mode, it is very quiet.
It's more than 20 years old, and so what makes this one different than what we've had before?
First and foremost, how it looks.
Yeah.
This car is, dare I say it, kind of sexy looking.
It is. It doesn't look like they've added too many bells and whistles. It looks like a Prius dash.
No, pretty clean. A couple of things that are interesting about it. First of all, you have the new Toyota infotainment system here. This is an 8-inch. If you move up to the SEL grade, you get a 12.3-inch touchscreen, which is a lot bigger, obviously. Then this new instrument panel is kind of interesting where it's placed. You see how it's forward and up. So I look above the steering wheel to see the gauges, not below. And what it does is it kind of mimics a head-up display, so your information is closer to your line of sight when you're driving. One of the really nice things about the new Toyota infotainment system is it's really a voice-first system. So if I say something like, "Hey Toyota,
what do you want to do?"
Lower the temperature to 68 degrees in the car.
setting the driver's temperature to 68 degrees.
Wow. So you can do that. It really just is a nice addition to the touchscreen, because using the touchscreen is problematic while you're driving. There you go. You want to ask it anything?
Hey, Toyota,
What do you want to do?
where can I go to find a sandwich?
I found 15 results. The first is Milio's Sandwiches at Adana Road. Would you like to go to that one?
Yes.
Get up, get set, let's go. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it was a fun ride.
Yeah, it was. It's a big upgrade from the previous generation in terms of look and feel. And with the plug-in hybrid, that really changes the equation on it as well.
Is that worth the extra expense?
Well, here's the common answer. It depends. Okay, if you're driving it around town mostly and your commute is under 40 miles, makes a ton of sense, because then you will not use gasoline engine very often at all. However, if you drive longer distances, then the traditional hybrid will be better for you. That gets 57 miles per gallon on the highway, but you don't get the benefit of any all-electric. So
Interesting.
that's something you'll just have to consider for yourself and what's going to work best for you.
Susan and I were talking about how the Prius is beloved in Madison. Is there a big reason behind that, or is it the obvious?
Well, it's the obvious. When it first came out, it was really the only green car option available. Now you see almost every Toyota has a hybrid model available. So now Toyota uses the Prius more as just sort of its tip of the spear of hybrid technology. They'll put things there first and then roll it out to the rest of the line.
Very good. Yeah, it was. What did you call it? A sexy Prius?
I guess if a Prius can be sexy.
Yeah,
this one is. No, it was a big upgrade, and it got a lot of attention when it came out last year.
Good. Thanks for being on. Good to see you.
Oh, my pleasure.
You can read more about it at ridesanddrives.com. Thanks, Harvey.
Thank you, guys.
I liked that question segment, so let's try this. Blaze, what's the weather like?
It's going to be warm, and it is going to be very spring-like. As we look to end your February, we focused on the warmer temperatures earlier on in the hour. So let's focus on kind of this last bullet point here of the 3 things you need to know, which is we're going to see wintry mixed chances Wednesday, Thursday, and then possibly on Friday as well. This is the setup. This is why we're going to remain warm throughout the rest of this week. And this is also the reason why we could see some snowflakes, but probably more rain over the next week as well, because that cold air is just off to our north. We're essentially underneath the jet stream. So these clipper systems will pull in a little bit of cooler air, and it's still cold above the surface that could turn over some of those raindrops to snowflakes. The first chance for light rain, we're beginning to see some showers already in Grant and Lafayette County, but that's going to continue as we go into the overnight hours. As we look ahead to Tuesday, we'll become more sunny as the day goes on, and if we can do that sooner rather than later, we could easily get back into those low 50s for a second day in a row, because we did a lot of melting today. And then here's our next system coming in as we go into Wednesday. Wednesday morning, maybe getting to the beginning of the commute time frame, we see that rain-snow mix, and then that will continue to slide eastward with a better chance for snowflakes as opposed to rain as we go Wednesday night into your Thursday. It pulls down some cooler air, probably flurries as we go into your Thursday morning, not looking at a lot in the way of accumulating snow. And then we look ahead to Friday. This system, no pun intended, is still up in the air. The European model really wants to keep it to our northeast, whereas the GFS model wants to bring that center further back into parts of Wisconsin, consistently showing up in our long-range models. So we're not seeing it pop up and then go away. What we're also consistently seeing is the placement is somewhat teetering back north and eastward. So both the European model and the GFS model, when you're looking at snow totals over the next 5 days, keep a lot of that snow confined to northern Wisconsin. And here across southern Wisconsin, we'll be lucky if we get at least a ½ inch of snow, if that. In terms of snow throughout the entire month, it's been a fairly snowy February, all things considered, especially January with that lack of snow. But we're about 4 inches, give or take, shy of where we would normally be for this time in the month. And we did a lot of melting today, as I said. You can see it there thanks to those 50s. So I bet a lot of our snowpack is gone by the middle of this week. 40s and maybe a few low 50s tomorrow. There is a look at that 10-day forecast. We're in the 40s or at least above freezing every single day over the extended forecast, except the very, very end. And it looks like we'll be starting off March on Saturday in the mid to upper 30s.
Our website, channel3000.com, is expanding its daily coverage of the Packers with the hiring of a Packers reporting legend.
Yep, Jason Wilde is joining our team here at News 3, and he'll provide daily free reporting online. Our Eric Franke sat down with Wilde to talk about his new role.
Susan and Brady, thank you. Yes, we are very excited to announce the newest member of our team. A 30-year, what is it, 30 or 40 years, Jason, that you've been covering the Packers?
Just 30, Eric. I knew you'd zig me right away.
A long time. It's great to have you on the team at Channel 3000. But let's talk about, you've been covering the Packers since what was the Favre Super Bowl, right? Or a little before that?
Yeah, I started at the State Journal in May of 1996. And by October, they realized, hey, this is a Super Bowl team. We might need some extra help. See if that Wilde kid can chip in when he's not covering Badger women's soccer and prep games and everything else, and the rest is history. So I couldn't be more excited about the turn this has taken, and I could be your teammate now.
We have longed to be teammates. We did a radio show together, 20 years ago now. We've since been busy raising kids and doing all kinds of fun stuff with our families. But how did this happen? I mean, this is fantastic that we have your expertise, your the long tenure you have at covering the Packers. And how did this come to be?
Yeah, the State Journal made a decision. They have some financial challenges that they're facing. I care deeply about that paper. It is part of who I have become as a human being and as a journalist, but they have decided that they don't have the fiscal wherewithal to cover the Packers anymore. So they're going to focus on their Wisconsin coverage. When this opportunity came, it was, I've heard the saying many times about when God closes a door, he opens a window, but Brian Burns and Morgan Murphy Media were the ones that opened the window for me, and I couldn't be happier.
Let's talk about the offseason and how this is shaping up right now for the Packers. We got a draft in this state in a couple months.
Yeah, I'll need some pointers from you on how to look good on television, because Lord knows that is not my strength. But I will be reporting from the draft. Brian Gutekunst talks tomorrow in Indianapolis. I've already had my first story on Channel 3000. There'll be another one tomorrow. There'll be another one on Wednesday, and all the way through the offseason. And folks will be able to access that for free on channel3000.com and on our other websites as well. So I'm really excited about that. It is a pivotal offseason for the Packers. They've got some holes they need to fill. Their general manager has said to their players publicly, it's time to ramp up our urgency and compete for championships. Though that search for a championship starts tomorrow from the scouting combine in Indianapolis.
Well, Jason, we are so thrilled to have you as we take our Packer coverage to the next level and seek our own form of a championship at channel3000.com. We're blessed to have you. Lucky. I'm so thrilled you're part of our team.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Eric. You and I have been friends for a really long time, and like I said, it's great to be with a best-in-class organization like WISC. I couldn't be happier.
Thanks again, Jason. We look forward to your coverage. We'll be right back after a short break.
Tomorrow on Live at 4, UW Health's Dr. Jeff Potoff will join us for his weekly visit. And later on News 3 Now at 6, Arn Rahman looks at what you should be doing about water runoff as the snow starts to melt. Thanks for joining us for Live at 4 on this Monday, everybody. We hope to see you right back here tomorrow. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.